When building new construction, one of the biggest questions we get when someone is building a brand new home, how do deposits work? How much do you need to put down? Is this deposit refundable? So today we are going to dive into exactly how deposits work here in the Sarasota and Manatee counties, and I will tell you each builder will handle this process just a little bit differently. So let's dive into what is very, very typical. So in Sarasota and Manatee counties, we have easily over 60 brand new communities underway at any given time, and all price points from approximately $300,000 to $400,000 all the way up to multi-million dollars. It can all be a little bit different. A good general rule of thumb for new construction when you're building from the ground up would be to be prepared to have 20% of the purchase price of the home for the deposit. And when I say purchase price of the home, I am including lot and structural options. Now, a number of the builders will also require an additional 25% once you've made your design options. So that is a very general rule of thumb. But let's go over these numbers in a little bit more detail. As we've discussed in many other videos, the base price of the home is just the basic structure and is not going to include your lot or your structural options, such as, and with structural options, I'm talking about extending garages and lanais or adding plumbing for an outdoor kitchen. So in this example I'm going to use, let's say you're building a home with a base price of $500,000. The lot cost may be $45,000, and then your structural options are approximately $30,000. So the price of your home before any design choices will be $575,000, and 20% of that is going to be $115,000. Now this amount is expected to be deposited within 3 business days of an accepted contract. And an accepted contract happens when you and the builder have both reviewed and agreed upon everything that will be in that contract. And keep in mind, you will sign the contract first and then it gets sent off to the builder for their signatures. Deposits are wired directly to a builder's escrow account, and that money is held there until closing, in which time that money is credited back to you as part of your closing cost or down payment for the home. Now, I always caution my buyers to verify wiring instructions prior to sending any money. Typically, all wires have to have a verbal verification or an encrypted email specifically from the title company that will be receiving those funds. So myself as an agent, the builder's rep, they cannot give you wiring instructions, only the title company or attorney that will be handling that. So remember, never wire money without verification, as unfortunately wire fraud does happen, and I definitely don't want you to lose any funds. Now, Sarasota Neighborhood Experts, as a company, we sell a lot of new construction. So if my team and I can help you, give us a call today. Keep watching and following along, and don't forget to subscribe. And also follow us on TikTok and Instagram, as we post a lot about other communities. Okay, but as I mentioned, you are most likely then, after you put your initial deposit down, you're also going to be charged an additional 25% of the design choices. So in this scenario, let's say you have chosen $50,000 worth of upgrades, you would need to deposit an additional $12,500 within 7 days of all design choices being finalized. So let's keep in mind the design appointment usually happens about 30 to 40 days after contract signing. So your 20% is due within 3 days of acceptance. Another 25% of design is due about a month later. But you might ask, what if you don't have the 20%, but you clearly qualify for this home? Many home buyers also have to sell their home, and they're taking proceeds out of their current home to purchase a new home. As I said, you might qualify for a less down payment, maybe 10% down, and you weren't planning on ever putting 20% down. Well, you may be able to negotiate with the builder for less down payment. They may require you work with their lender specifically, though, to ensure that you qualify for the home. Now, always keep in mind that the builder is going to recommend that you work with their lender, but you have the option of choosing your own. And regardless if you're buying new construction or resale, in our area specifically, it is very, very common for us to see a 5 to 10% deposit for any earnest money. So you do need to be prepared when buying in the Sarasota, Manatee County areas, as our deposits are higher than other areas. Now, that said, not all builders are going to require this. There are builders such as David Weekley Homes, MI Homes, DR Horton Homes, and Lennar that may only require a $20,000 deposit as opposed to 20%, which is a huge difference. Each community features its own set of rules with deposits. It's not just builder specific, it's the neighborhood specific. So it's really critical to understand how deposits work. And also know that once that contract is signed and the deposit is made, it becomes non-refundable. Now, I'm sure that there's been a few times in extenuating circumstances that deposits have been returned. However, I always have to have an attorney involved in this. So I do recommend having a good attorney review the contract and work on your behalf when buying new construction. Now, for my luxury home buyers, this deposit system is very, very different. Let's say you are building a brand new home in Wild Blue with Arthur Ruddenberg Homes or Stock Homes. The first step as a home buyer would be to purchase the lot. The lot, the structural upgrades are all calculated similar to the example, but in this scenario, the lot may be worth $400,000. You as a buyer will purchase the lot in one separate transaction and the remainder is a construction loan. And many times the builder will connect you with their lender for construction loans. Again, if you have someone that can do this, it's perfectly within your right to have that done. So you'll see you'll purchase the lot, then you'll have a construction loan, and then as the home gets to completion and is completed, this will roll into one permanent loan. So this is very, very typical on higher end homes, as that there is a draw system that the builder uses to complete the home. Again, once the deposits and loans are in place, you're not able to have that money refunded to you. So it is extremely important to be secure in your purchase and your choices. Do you still have to put 20% down if you're buying an inventory home or a spec home? Luckily, these rules will typically not apply to the builder's spec homes or new construction that they've made all the choices on. They may require 20% down, but they're not going to add that 25% for design options. I recently have this situation where I have a buyer building with stock homes. All the choices in the home had been made, so they did put 20% down, but they were able to save themselves quite a bit of money by going with a spec home. If you have questions on new construction, how deposits work, what each builder requires, or what each subdivision or community requires, whether that's large or small, anything in between, my team here at Sarasota Neighborhood Experts, we sell a lot of new construction and we're here to help. So give us a call today and be sure to keep following along for more information, and don't forget to subscribe. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care.